chatting souls.
Yeah, it's strange to me how long it loads for what it is, but I'm sure we'll get into that. Hey everyone, this is another edition of Play from Press Pause Radio. We've got me and Sarah on board, and yeah, we're gonna check out what may possibly be one of the fucking stupidest, hardest games fucking this year. It's really hard. Like,
Harder still than Bloodborne?
Yes.
Ooh.
Like, Bloodborne, no matter what, even when it beats you down and it's just like, well, fuck you, I bit your baby toe and you're dead. There's this compelling drive to just like, no, this will not stand. And, you just keep going at it and you feel like you're learning from it, or that, you've accomplished something to any degree. This is just this game is a war of attrition sometimes. Like, you are really just challenging, like, can I put myself through that again? And, like, you don't even have time to really, like, I don't know, analyze what you may have done wrong. So this is the tutorial area. It's done. Like, that's pretty much all there is to the game. And
so are we looking at, this is on PS4, right?
Yes. And so I think my biggest complaint, honestly, is I don't feel like a lot of the bosses are optimized in a way that you can essentially learn or otherwise, like, I don't know, develop. It's sometimes it really feels like trial and error, especially when you have a general idea of how to beat the boss, but even that alone is like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
Like, and this is the very first boss. This boss is supposed to be essentially the palate cleanser, in a sense, to like what's ahead. I still will hold true to that to this very day. I mean, I've played quite a bit of this game. One of the hardest bosses in this entire game is the second boss. Like, yeah, it has a very inconsistent curve of difficulty where, things spike, and then you'll walk into a room, you'll take out a boss, and you'll be like, really? Like, I don't know, you kind of psych yourself out for something, and then you essentially run into the boss that's, well, that's what you're going to do for the next 3 days. It can get that bad. But as you can see there, after you defeat a boss, you super summon, suck out that fucking arrow, and essentially suck out the Titan's soul. It's a very, it's a very to-the-point game. I like it. As far as that, but I don't know, man. My love for this game is hit or miss. Like, I don't know. There are times where I'm having fun, and there are other times where I just, like, I'm so over this. And see, like, this is the boss I was talking about. That's the second boss. He's incredibly fast, even with your sprint and just reflexes and agility aside.
I remember squaring off against him in at PAX, and it was pretty irritating. Like,
right here, I feel like I should have gotten him just by summoning the arrow into him, which I've done that trophy before. And see, that's a bit of a strategy. I mean, a lot of people, it's a very polarizing display of how people play this game, which is, I would say to the benefit of, like, the complexity in this game, but it's also like there's almost not a whole lot to do when you, like, try to go at something headlong, so you almost really do have to be, I don't know, a little aloof in your approach and just do or try weird shit. And you have that one arrow. Like, at this moment, after I pop out that arrow, like, I either run and grab it or I summon it. And when you summon it, it can take a little, like, just a millisecond, which could lead to your doom, because that's still long enough for you to be too vulnerable to, like, being taken out. And it's just slow. Yeah, just like, dude, shit like that. Like, I'm trying to get a beat on, like, trying to get a beat on this dude is very difficult, and even though he has like a very linear form of movement, it's just 4 directions. He can change it at any point because he's a 6-sided cube. So yeah, we're gonna change pace here, and yeah, like Titan Souls, when you have boss fights like this, I think this is where it really stands out. So if you can't tell already, what you want to do is you want to lure the Ice Cube Brain monster onto one of the switches, which will ignite the campfire in the middle, therefore allowing you to shoot your arrow through the fire, igniting the arrow and melting the ice that surrounds the brain. And at that point, the brain's vulnerable.
Right.
So, I mean, there are nice little puzzles here that, like, dude, I don't know, they definitely do keep things interesting, other than this like contest of skill and patience, mostly patience. But see, it's right. It's all a matter of positioning.
You just need to step on the light, the panel, right? For that to...
I don't need to. I can't. I'm not heavy enough. He has to do it.
What? Come on.
Yeah.
So how does it even work?
I have to basically this right here.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you got to get your arrow through the fire.
And there we go.
Okay.
Done. See, like, once you figure it out, and like that's the thing, as tough as the bosses are, it's not a matter of mechanical endurance, it's mental endurance. Because once you figure out the secret to a boss, you just need to exploit it one time, and then you will defeat it. Like, I already knew what to do, so I fixated on nothing but that. Once I accomplish it, as you saw, boss ain't shit. So we're gonna try our fucking cube friend here again. He's a severe piece of shit. Like, I cannot tell you. Just, I like parts of the game, like near the middle, I sailed through just because I understood like what I needed to do within a couple attempts. I know what to do here. It's just too fucking hard, and I'm too slow. And this dude, he's not a simpleton to the point where like, oh, he's gonna telegraph right there to where I can get a shot at his eyes. You still need to position yourself. And like, you know, trying to do a trick shot and summon it away from a vantage point, it makes sense. It's hard though. Like right there, yeah.
Crispy.
So I don't know, Sarah. After I think this is probably the most exposure you've gotten to this game outside of when we first looked at it.
No, I've seen this entire area just completely decimated within minutes.
Really?
Yeah, there was a guy playing ahead of me that basically took all of the mystique out of the game before I got a chance to get hands-on with it.
But like, even then, you know,
how long? It's just this one area, isn't it? Or how many areas are there?
Oh, there are a lot. See, so that's probably my biggest complaint with Titan Souls, and you'll see. We'll get to that point. I really need to take out this fuck. Like, this dude. Like, I will not abide. This will not stand.
He's a bastard.
Yeah, and a lot of I think my biggest complaint too with Titan Souls is to initiate battles, you need to shoot at the inanimate enemy. Yeah, see, like right there, you saw what I was planning for, and then he just like, he caught on me. So yeah, you have to shoot the inanimate object to trigger the battle, but by doing that, like, you are already unarming yourself and immediately need to focus on like getting your arrow back. So this is supposed to be the last dude of the area. Like, this dude's supposed to be harder than Cube Dude. I can assure you, it's not the case though. Like, had that shot landed, I would have won.
You've just been pounded into paste though.
Yeah. So I think it's weird too, because I want to say that this game is beautiful, and I want to say its color use is great, and some of the like sprite art is great, but I'm not as enamored with the visuals as when I initially saw it. Like, I feel like this game kind of echoes the fatigue of like too many pixel games out there at the moment, or at least it's not, I don't know. it's not exactly doing something that I think gives that game like a fucking like. Do you get what I mean by that? See, like I'm summoning the fucking arrow right in your bubble goose of an eyelid, you fucking pupes. Jesus. But yeah, about the visuals, like, do you kind of get where I'm coming from, or are you pretty impressed by the visuals?
Well, I mean, you know, it's like every other indie game these days, it seems. It's like pixel art is the way to go. Like, I do like how this particular boss here uses kind of like a full mode 7. Almost. It almost looks like a 3D object. It might as well be, really.
I mean, it really kind of is. He's not the... God damn it. He's
like, is it fully...
Look at him! He's just rolling back and forth like a dick! That was the equivalent of teabagging. Yeah.
I mean, they do the job, right? And I probably agree with you. The color choice is good for what it is. Well, it works.
In later areas, like, they really expand the palette of colors and the environments. Like, we're in this temple-ass area right now, and, like, it's nice, but, like, I don't know. I think my biggest problem with Titan Souls is that, like, and you know, stick with me from here. It's fun. It's a unique take on some familiar concepts that we've seen in other games. However, it's a little too rough around the edges to really, to really like be its own thing that I can, like, I don't know, cherish. Like Shovel Knight, for example, is a melting pot of like all the things that you love about old games at some juncture within itself, and yet, you know, it's able to do that and create its own identity and have this characterization and these colors and this, like,
oh man, Zot.
Yeah,
there
right there. You know, Shovel Knight has personality, basically. Whereas this game is just like, man, what if you love Legend of Zelda and Shadow of the Colossus? Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's almost like a... I feel like this is a meeting room pitch that hasn't really expanded beyond that in some area. Like, I don't know, fundamentally, yes. But soul-wise, not to be, you know, not to have that pun in there. That's your bag. But, yeah, man. Game, fuck this game. Fucking...
It's definitely soul-crushing.
Yes, absolutely. Kind of lacks its own identity sometimes. But see what I mean? Like, that's the second boss. Or even then, let's just reasonably assume the third boss. Who the fuck cares? Harder than the fucking... Like, that dude that I took out prior, he's supposed to be the last dude you take out to leave the next area. I mean, there's no linearity to it, but, like, there's almost, like, this implied order. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yet this guy's a dick. He's a fucking dick. God, fucking... Fuck you and your touchdown dance. I'm sorry, go on.
Do you need to defeat all 4 bosses in order to progress?
Yeah, so you'll notice on that light emblem that I keep spawning on, there are little nodules to the sides of the emblem, and they represent that you are near completion of activating the unlocking mechanisms for the grand door that hangs out in your area. And see, this area is supposed to be a primer to, like, get you, like, I don't know, somewhat, like, acclimated to what the game is fucking gonna do to you. But
it's basically lubing you up.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, like, I don't know. I think it's kind of going in dry at this point. It, like...
Bite the piddle, son.
Oh, Jesus. But I feel like again, when you ask, is this harder than Bloodborne? It is, in the sense that I don't think it has the same fucking done.
It's okay, hold on. That's all you needed to do?
That's all I needed to do. It was hard. Shut up, it was hard. You saw how many times I shot and missed?
I didn't think it was just one hit.
Yeah, it's always just one hit. There's very few moments where it takes more than one hit, and those are the more advanced bosses near the end. No, It's just that, like, that vulnerable side, every time I was in a position to aim my arrow and take him out, you'll notice he went into the defensive and just flipped down or flipped in the opposite direction to go around and then crush me to death. I mean, you saw the way...
Not gonna lie, that would have infuriated me.
Yeah, it's just... It's a little much, man. But honestly, like, after that, dude, it gets easier. Like, it's really weird, and like, I don't feel like a game is supposed to have that uneven of a difficulty curve. But at the same time, it's supposed to be very open-ended. There's the linearity is completely subjected by whoever plays it. But yeah, this is what I'm getting to. That little area, like I said, primer, the entire game is very much, again, in the vein of Shadow of the Colossus, where it's this giant empty world that you're exploring and trying to find areas to find and discover other bosses. But like, I feel like Shadow of the Colossus, and even then, it barely got away, because there are times where I think, again, that's also... So this is the grand door, you're in this giant world, and as you can see, that one nodule. So now you gotta explore and go around areas and fight, their respective titans in that area. But yeah, it's a lot of emptiness, not a whole lot of interaction. I mean, even then, Shadow of the Colossus gave you some tiny bits of minutia to, have fun with in a world. And plus, in a three-dimensional perspective, I think it just lended itself more to this sort of exploration. Here, this is a chore, dude. So I'm in this water area. That's one of the quadrants. And I mean, again, you'll go around and kind of explore areas and discover. And then there's some Zelda puzzles too that they throw in. The puzzle elements are very light, but like I was saying earlier, it's really derivative of Zelda in a sense where there's tribute, and then there's like, come on, man, like, fucking make me feel something I haven't felt before.
It's no 3D Dot Game Heroes.
No, that's the perfect example. Like 3D Dot Game Heroes, I felt like it was its own game. You knew what it was like paying homage to, but it still developed its own identity, and it had its own sense of character and personality, and like it world building. So, all right,
I was obsessed with finding those tiny blocks. Remember those things?
Yeah, I remember those things. And see, like, there's, like I said, yeah, there's a lot to do, and it just does it through, like, I would say the illusion of, like, Zelda fandom. But, like, yeah, here it's so driven. Like, yeah, this dude's an asshole, by the way. You got to get him in the butt.
Way, yeah.
Dude, all right, yeah, fuck this. So this is Titan Souls. And fun, infuriating. You decide.
This latest Play video from Press Pause Radio was brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/presspauseradio, and you can get access to over 100,000 titles to choose from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.